Most women spend hours trying to become more attractive, yet the very first things men notice can't be bought, copied, or covered with makeup. In fact, the qualities that create the strongest attraction often have nothing to do with physical beauty. Today, you'll discover the 8 hidden qualities that instantly capture a man's attention. Some of them will surprise you, and the last one may completely change how you think about attraction forever. If you're enjoying this video and want more practical relationship insights that help you build genuine confidence and stronger connections, take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Confidence is one of the first things a man notices, but not the kind of confidence that demands attention or tries to prove something. The most attractive confidence is quiet. It shows up in the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, and the way you respond to the world around you. A woman who values herself naturally gives others permission to value her too. She doesn't walk into a room hoping everyone will approve of her. She walks in already comfortable with who she is. That simple difference changes everything. Think about the women who leave a lasting impression. They are not always the loudest, the most glamorous, or the most conventionally beautiful. Often they have a calm presence that makes people feel at ease. They don't rush to fill every silence. They don't constantly look around to see who is watching them. They aren't trying to impress everyone because they aren't measuring their worth by other people's opinions. That sense of security is incredibly attractive because it creates trust. It tells a man that he is meeting someone who has built her identity from within, instead of borrowing it from outside approval. This doesn't mean confident women never feel nervous or uncertain. Everyone has moments of self-doubt. The difference is that they don't allow those moments to control their behavior. They don't apologize for existing. They don't shrink themselves just to make someone else comfortable. They can laugh at a mistake without feeling embarrassed for the rest of the day. They can accept a compliment with a genuine smile instead of immediately rejecting it. These small habits communicate emotional strength in ways that words never could. Real confidence also allows a woman to set healthy boundaries. She isn't afraid to say no when something doesn't feel right. She doesn't chase people who give mixed signals, and she doesn't believe she has to earn basic respect. Ironically, this makes her even more attractive because people naturally value someone who clearly values themselves. Confidence is contagious. When a woman believes she has something meaningful to offer, others begin to see it too. The most powerful part is that genuine confidence isn't something you wear. It isn't hidden in a perfect outfit or a flawless hairstyle. It's built through daily choices, self-respect, personal growth, and the quiet decision to accept yourself while continuing to become the best version of who you already are. That's the kind of confidence that catches attention immediately and remains unforgettable long after the first impression has passed. The second thing men notice almost immediately is a woman's energy. Before a long conversation begins, before they learn about her career, her hobbies, or even her personality in depth, they often pick up on how she makes them feel. Energy isn't something mystical or impossible to explain. It's the emotional atmosphere you create through your attitude, expressions, tone of voice, and the way you respond to the people around you. A woman with warm, positive energy has a way of making others feel comfortable without trying too hard. And that feeling stays with them long after the interaction ends. Have you ever met someone who instantly made a room feel lighter? They smiled naturally, listened with genuine interest, and seemed fully present in the moment. They weren't performing or trying to entertain everyone. They simply brought a sense of ease wherever they went. That kind of presence is incredibly attractive because people are naturally drawn toward those who make them feel relaxed instead of judged. A man may not remember every word from a first conversation, but he will almost always remember how that conversation made him feel. Positive energy doesn't mean pretending to be happy every second of every day. Nobody expects perfection, and forcing constant excitement can actually feel exhausting. Real warmth comes from authenticity. It comes from being kind without expecting something in return. It comes from laughing easily, showing curiosity, and being open enough to enjoy the moment instead of worrying about saying everything perfectly. That natural ease encourages the person across from you to relax as well. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing attraction comes from appearing mysterious by acting distant or emotionally unavailable. While a little mystery can create curiosity, emotional coldness rarely creates genuine connection. Warmth, on the other hand, makes someone feel welcomed. It tells a man that he doesn't have to constantly guess where he stands or work through unnecessary emotional walls just to have a simple conversation. That emotional comfort creates a strong foundation for attraction. This kind of energy also reflects how you treat yourself. People who practice gratitude, take care of their emotional well-being, and focus on enjoying life often radiate a quiet optimism that others notice immediately. They don't ignore challenges, but they refuse to let negativity define every interaction. Their positivity feels genuine rather than forced, and that authenticity is refreshing. In the end, your energy becomes part of your identity. Long after someone forgets specific details about what you wore or what topics you discussed, they'll remember whether being around you felt peaceful, uplifting, exciting, and genuine. That emotional memory is one of the strongest forms of attraction because people naturally want to return to the places and the people who make them feel good about themselves and about life. One of the first things men naturally notice is a woman's eye contact and facial expressions. These small, often unconscious signals communicate far more than words ever could. Before anyone has the chance to explain who they are, their face is already telling a story. A genuine smile, relaxed expressions, and confident eye contact create an immediate sense of connection. They signal openness, warmth, and authenticity, qualities that people instinctively find attractive. Eye contact is especially powerful because it shows presence. In a world where so many people are distracted by their phones or constantly looking around the room, someone who gives another person their full attention stands out. When a woman maintains comfortable eye contact during a conversation, it tells a man that she is engaged in the moment. She isn't trying to impress him, and she isn't looking for someone more interesting. That simple act of being fully present creates a feeling of importance that many people rarely experience. Of course, there is a balance. Staring intensely can feel uncomfortable, while avoiding eye contact altogether can unintentionally suggest insecurity or disinterest. The most attractive approach is natural. Looking into someone's eyes while speaking, occasionally looking away, and returning with a relaxed smile creates an effortless rhythm that feels genuine rather than rehearsed. It shows confidence without becoming intimidating. Then there is the smile. Not every smile has the same effect. People can usually sense the difference between a polite smile and one that comes from real enjoyment. A genuine smile reaches the eyes, softens the face, and communicates warmth in an instant. And it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, the little imperfections often make it even more memorable. A sincere smile has the power to make another person feel accepted, and that emotional response is incredibly attractive. Facial expressions throughout a conversation matter just as much. Someone who reacts naturally, laughs freely, and shows curiosity through their expressions makes every interaction feel more alive. Nodding while listening, raising an eyebrow in surprise, or smiling during a funny moment tells the other person that they are truly being heard. These subtle responses build connection without either person consciously realizing why the conversation feels so easy. Many people focus so much on finding the perfect words that they forget communication is about much more than speaking. Your face often reveals confidence, kindness, enthusiasm, and emotional intelligence long before your sentences do. A calm expression during a challenging moment, a warm smile when greeting someone, or gentle eye contact respect while listening can leave a stronger impression than any clever line ever could. What makes these qualities so attractive is their authenticity. They cannot be faked for long. Genuine eye contact comes from interest. Genuine smiles come from enjoying the moment. Genuine expressions come from being emotionally present instead of worrying about appearing perfect. When a woman is comfortable enough to simply be herself, her face reflects that confidence naturally, creating a first impression that feels welcoming, memorable, and impossible to ignore. The way a woman carries herself is something men notice almost instantly. Long before they pay attention to what she's wearing or what she says, they notice how she moves, how she stands, and the overall presence she brings into a room. Body language speaks before words ever have a chance. It quietly communicates confidence, self-respect, comfort, and emotional security. These signals are often picked up without conscious thought, yet they have a powerful influence on first impressions. Imagine two people entering the same room. One walks in with tense shoulders, constantly looking down, fidgeting with their hands, and appearing uncomfortable. The other walks in at a relaxed pace, stands tall without looking stiff, and seems completely at ease with herself. Neither person has spoken a single word, yet most people will naturally feel drawn toward the second person. The difference isn't about beauty or fashion, it's about presence. Good posture is one of the simplest examples of this. Standing upright with relaxed shoulders doesn't just change how others see you, it changes how you feel about yourself. When you carry yourself with balance and ease, you project quiet confidence. It doesn't come across as arrogance. Instead, it sends the message that you're comfortable in your own skin. That feeling is attractive because it creates a sense of stability and calm. The way you walk also matters more than many people realize. Rushing everywhere, appearing anxious, or constantly looking for approval can unintentionally communicate stress. A calm, natural walk reflects confidence without saying a word. It shows that you're not trying to compete for attention because you don't believe you have to. Ironically, that often makes people notice you even more. Even the smallest movements make a difference. Someone who constantly crosses their arms, avoids open body language, or nervously checks their phone may appear emotionally unavailable without intending to. On the other hand, relaxed gestures, open posture, and natural movements create an atmosphere that feels welcoming. They encourage conversation because they make the other person feel comfortable approaching you. Presence is also about slowing down enough to enjoy the moment. Many people become so focused on making a good impression that they forget to actually experience the interaction. A woman who isn't rushing every sentence, interrupting herself, or constantly worrying about how she's being perceived often appears more confident. She listens carefully, responds thoughtfully, and allows conversations to flow naturally. That calmness becomes incredibly attractive because it stands out in a world where everyone seems to be in a hurry. Perhaps the most important part is that true presence cannot be separated from self-respect. When you believe your time, thoughts, and feelings have value, your body naturally reflects that belief. You don't need exaggerated gestures or dramatic movements to capture attention. Your quiet confidence speaks for itself. At the end of the day, attraction isn't always about being the loudest person in the room. More often, it's about being the person who looks completely comfortable being exactly where they are. That sense of ease is difficult to fake, easy to notice, and incredibly memorable. It creates a lasting first impression because it tells a man that he's looking at someone who doesn't need to chase attention. She naturally commands it simply by the way she carries herself. Kindness is one of the most overlooked qualities when people talk about attraction, yet it is one of the first things men truly notice once an interaction begins. Real kindness isn't about trying to please everyone or sacrificing your own needs. It's about the way you treat people when there's nothing to gain. It's reflected in your patience, your respect, your empathy, and the way you make others feel valued. These small moments often leave a stronger impression than any physical feature ever could. Think about the difference between someone who is polite only when they want something and someone who naturally treats everyone with respect. A man notices how a woman speaks to a waiter, thanks a cashier, smiles at a stranger, or listens when someone else is talking. These moments reveal character. They show whether kindness is simply an act or a genuine part of who she is. Authentic kindness creates trust because it demonstrates consistency. It tells people that the warmth they experience isn't reserved for special occasions, but is part of her everyday nature. Emotional intelligence makes kindness even more attractive. This is the ability to understand emotions, manage reactions, and respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. A woman with emotional intelligence doesn't immediately assume the worst during a misunderstanding. She asks questions before jumping to conclusions. She listens without interrupting and responds without trying to win every disagreement. That doesn't mean she avoids conflict or never expresses frustration. It simply means she handles difficult moments with maturity instead of allowing emotions to control every response. Men often feel drawn to women who make conversations feel safe rather than stressful. Imagine sharing a personal story with someone who genuinely listens, maintains eye contact, and responds with understanding instead of immediately changing the subject to themselves. That experience creates connection because everyone wants to feel heard. Being a good listener is one of the clearest signs of emotional intelligence, and it's surprisingly rare. People remember those who make them feel understood. Kindness also appears in the little things that many people overlook. Offering encouragement when someone doubts themselves, celebrating another person's success without jealousy, remembering small details from previous conversations, or checking in on a friend after a difficult day all communicate genuine care. These actions don't require grand gestures. They require attention and sincerity. Over time, these small habits become far more meaningful than dramatic displays of affection. Another attractive quality is emotional stability. A woman who can stay calm under pressure, express her feelings honestly, and communicate respectfully brings a sense of peace into relationships. She doesn't create unnecessary drama to keep someone's attention. Instead, she builds trust through consistency and honesty. That kind of emotional maturity is deeply attractive because it makes relationships feel secure rather than unpredictable. It's important to understand that kindness is not weakness. Some people confuse being kind with having no boundaries, but the opposite is often true. A truly kind woman knows when to say yes and when to say no. She can be compassionate without allowing herself to be treated poorly. She respects others, but she also respects herself. That balance is powerful because it shows both strength and grace. In the end, physical attraction may capture someone's attention for a moment, but kindness and emotional intelligence determine whether that attention grows into genuine admiration. Beauty can create curiosity, but character creates connection. A woman who makes people feel respected, understood, and appreciated leaves an impression that lasts far beyond the first meeting. Long after someone forgets the details of an outfit or a hairstyle, they'll remember how she made them feel, and that memory is often the strongest form of attraction of all. One of the most attractive things a man notices is when a woman has a genuine passion for her own life. There is something incredibly appealing about someone who wakes up with purpose, enjoys learning, works toward meaningful goals, and finds happiness that doesn't depend on another person's approval. This doesn't mean she has to own a successful business, travel the world, or have every detail of her future planned. It simply means she has interests, dreams, and values that give her life direction. That sense of purpose creates a quiet confidence that naturally draws people in. When a woman is passionate about something, whether it's her career, her family, fitness, art, music, volunteering, or any personal interest, her energy changes. She becomes more expressive, more animated, and more engaged in conversations. You can hear it in her voice when she talks about something she truly enjoys. Her excitement feels genuine because it comes from a place of personal fulfillment rather than trying to impress someone. That authenticity is attractive because it reveals depth and individuality. Many people mistakenly believe that attraction comes from making another person the center of their entire world. In reality, healthy relationships grow stronger when both people already have fulfilling lives of their own. A woman who has her own goals and passions brings fresh experiences, interesting conversations, and a sense of independence into the relationship. She doesn't expect one person to provide all her happiness because she has already built a meaningful life for herself. That balance creates a relationship based on sharing happiness instead of searching for it. Purpose also shows resilience. Life brings setbacks to everyone, but people with a strong sense of direction often recover more quickly because they know what they're working toward. Instead of giving up after disappointment, they adjust, learn, and continue moving forward. That determination is inspiring. A man notices when a woman approaches challenges with optimism and persistence instead of allowing every obstacle to define her future. It demonstrates inner strength without needing to announce it. Having a fulfilling life also makes conversations more engaging. Someone who is curious, constantly learning and exploring new experiences naturally has stories to tell and questions to ask. She isn't waiting for another person to entertain her because she already finds joy in discovering new ideas. This creates balanced conversations where both people contribute instead of one carrying the entire interaction. Genuine curiosity is attractive because it keeps relationships growing long after the excitement of the first meeting fades. Perhaps the most powerful part of living with purpose is that it removes the pressure to seek constant validation. A woman who knows who she is doesn't need to change her personality to gain approval. She can appreciate compliments without depending on them for her confidence. She can enjoy a relationship without losing sight of her own identity. That independence doesn't push people away. Instead, it creates respect because it shows she values both herself and the people she chooses to share her life with. At the end of the day, passion is contagious. People are naturally drawn to those who live with enthusiasm, curiosity, and purpose. A woman who invests in her own growth, follows her interests, and continues becoming the best version of herself becomes memorable, not because she tries to stand out, but because she is genuinely engaged with life. That quiet sense of purpose is one of the strongest forms of attraction because it reflects confidence, depth, and the promise of a relationship built on mutual growth rather than dependence. One of the first qualities that captures a man's attention is a woman's sense of playfulness and her ability to enjoy the moment. Life is filled with responsibilities, deadlines, and daily pressures, so meeting someone who brings lightness into a conversation can feel incredibly refreshing. Playfulness isn't about acting childish or trying to be the loudest person in the room. It's about having a relaxed spirit, a genuine sense of humor, and the confidence to laugh, smile, and enjoy life without taking every situation too seriously. Think about the people you naturally enjoy spending time with. They aren't always the most attractive or the most accomplished. Often they're the ones who make ordinary moments feel enjoyable. They know how to laugh at themselves after making a small mistake. They can turn an awkward situation into a funny memory instead of letting it become embarrassing. That ability to stay light-hearted creates comfort because it removes unnecessary pressure from every interaction. A woman with a playful personality doesn't feel the need to perform or impress. She allows conversations to flow naturally. She teases gently without being hurtful, laughs sincerely instead of forcing reactions, and enjoys shared experiences rather than worrying about saying the perfect thing. This kind of behavior makes people feel relaxed because it shows she is comfortable being herself. Confidence often appears in the ability to laugh freely without fearing judgment.